Hello, my name is Jeff Mann, and I'm a member of the faculty here at Susquehanna University. Over the past 30-some years, I've had the privilege to be either a student or a professor at 8 different institutions of higher education, including both small liberal arts colleges and major universities. During that time, I've seen constant efforts to increase various types of diversity and improve the relations between groups on campus. Today, the language we use to describe this is DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Over the years, I've seen and been part of many such programs. Some were helpful, some weren't. But what's worked best on our campuses? Well, I guess I've always been aware of this. I never thought about it in direct terms until recently. To the best of my knowledge, the place where diversity, equity, and inclusion play out best on college and university campuses is in athletics. As for diversity, athletics programs bring in students from all over the country, urban and rural, left and right, all socioeconomic levels, all majors, and certainly underrepresented ethnic groups. They bring these young adults together, make them work together, sweat together, bleed together, with the common goal of attaining excellence in their chosen passion. Those that rise to the top do so on the basis of talent, skill, hard work, teamwork, leadership, and integrity. What you do on the court, or the field, the track, the pitch, or in the pool, combined with maintaining your academics, listening to your coach, and staying out of trouble, that's what matters. You want the respect of your coach and teammates? You want playing time? You want recognition? It's based on what you do, not where you come from. As for inclusion, where do you see that more than in athletics? Some sports, for various reasons, have more ethnic diversity than others. But if you want to see students judging one another based on the content of their character, stop by the athletic facilities of any college between 4:15 and 6:15 in the afternoon, or at 6 o'clock in the morning in the weight room. The linemen in the trenches appreciate one another's grit and determination, not each other's identity groups. The 4x100 meter relay team on the track is working together over and over and over to execute a flawless exchange of the baton. The goalkeeper needs to coordinate her defenders so they can work together as a unit. And even in more individual sports, wrestlers need each other to push them further and further in training, on the mat or wherever they work out. Character counts most in these contexts. The demands of athletics push young adults to be greater than who they were. This creates strong bonds with each other and builds resilience. Unfortunately, while coaches are busy building resilience in their players, there seem to be others who think students are better served by encouraging its opposite. It seems to me, if we want to prepare young people for lives of achievement, leadership, and service, greater resilience is the way to go. And athletics are not just our team versus the other team. Take an American soccer player just about anywhere in the world, and it won't be long until she's playing with the locals, laughing, sweating, and making friends. Our baseball team takes some of its members to Chile, where the common love of the game makes immediate connections across all sorts of divides. While I wasn't working with our basketball team, I've taken students to the Philippines, where the common heritage of basketball brings Filipinos and Americans together. We even started an annual tradition of a USA versus Philippines game every summer at Smoky Mountain Trash Dump in Manila. Sports bridge divides in a way that few other things can. It often gives us inclusion at its best. As for equity, it's not that various differences disappear, become invisible, irrelevant, or ignored. They're obviously still present and can create challenges, difficulties, and opportunities. But it's usually the student athletes who negotiate how to deal with them, not some adult telling them how to do it. Make an inappropriate remark that crosses the line, your teammates can let you know that's not cool, without a word being spoken. Walk around with a chip on your shoulder, you and everyone else will soon see how far that attitude gets you. And it's not a game of gotcha, because everyone's goal is the same, to forge a winning team. And so students figure out the best ways to navigate their differences. Coaches get involved when necessary, but they aren't the DEI bosses. Also, coaches know that they aren't the experts on all matters, who tell students what to think or believe. When student athletes get in arguments, coaches know it's not their job to tell them the truth about immigration, the environment, race relations, religion, or the minimum wage. They set the parameters for collegiality, and the student athletes need to work it out themselves, like adults. They figure out, through trial and error, through watching their peers, how best to negotiate difference. That's what equity looks like. You want to see genuine diversity, equity, and inclusion in action? Go check out athletics. Now, I don't want this simply to be rah-rah athletics. Athletics programs have their fair share and more of problems and shortcomings. And no one would pretend that they've attained the utopian vision of perfect fairness with regard to all issues of diversity. They're made up of people, after all. Also, none of this is to suggest that athletics folks are more awesome than other folks. Developing DEI skills just fits well in their environment. And there are other areas around campus where you can find similar inclusive excellence. Take a walk over to the music department and you'll see something quite similar. People from all over the world, of different religions, cultures, languages, and backgrounds, literally working in perfect harmony. Music is also a tremendous bridge between very different people. Our university has one of its best international programs housed in the music department, where performance majors travel to Japan to spend time studying and playing with their Japanese counterparts at Niigata University. The Japanese and American students connect through music while forging real relationships with people quite different from themselves. Music and sports bring different people together while respecting their differences. They don't ask for conformity, but civility. So what's the point of all this? I think we can take two things away from this observation. First, other groups around campus can learn something from athletics. Athletes create inclusive excellence largely because they know that they'll all be treated the same. High standards are set for everyone. Players are treated like adults who are capable of great things. Personal responsibility is expected, and you may get an earful when you don't do what you're capable of. There's no special treatment based on what group you belong to or what experiences you've had. Unequal treatment would only breed resentment and contempt, both of the coach and the other players. At the same time, players know that they can go see the coach in his or her office if they have individual concerns or struggles, or if things have gone too far, and that these will be taken seriously and addressed. The coach is there for everyone on the team equally. Second, the policies and programs that have not improved things on campus should not be forced on athletics. As I mentioned before, university faculty and administrators have not always done a good job of improving diversity, equity, and inclusion. With the best of intentions, we sometimes make things worse. We can focus on diversity too narrowly, discriminate unfairly, and exclude people, creating more tribalism rather than less. It's no secret on campus that most diversity events don't bring in a genuine diversity of students. Those who might think differently on difficult issues often feel that they're not welcome at these events, or at least not welcome to express their opinions. Creating diversity programs so that we can say that we're creating diversity programs often does more harm than good. I know of a coach at a school with which I have no affiliation who was recently given a new mandate by his administration. After going on a recruiting drive, he and all other coaches must turn in documentation showing the ethnic diversity of the recruits that he met with, in order to show he is making an effort toward greater diversity. Let's stop and think about that for a moment. First, it begins with the assumption that the coach unfairly discriminates against ethnic minorities, probably subconsciously, and he needs to prove otherwise. Yes, we all have our biases, but absent any evidence of discrimination, and given the evidence of greater ethnic diversity in athletics programs, this seems to me to be a waste of time at best. It's also more than a bit insulting. Second, it encourages the coach to spend more time with certain athletes because of the color of their skin or the sound of their last name, rather than the quality of their play and academics. That's neither fair to the coach or to the athlete. If the student was never a good fit, but time is spent with him or her just so a box can be checked, coaches are wasting their time and resources, and they're wasting the time of students as well. Third, when members of the community find out that certain athletes are considered more valuable than others because of their identity group, that undermines the unity of the team. It's a small step from there to resentment and questions of why so-and-so is getting more playtime or why I'm sitting on the bench. Even when the coach treats everyone fairly, people are aware of the precedent. And fourth, while well-paid administrators like to show off the different programs they've created, it's the underpaid coaches who do all the work. And these are people who already do so much for their institutions, and often without the credit they deserve. If we're going to add to their burden, we better make damn sure that we're doing what is really making a positive difference for everyone, and that there's evidence to show that. Creating programs for the sake of creating programs, to pad someone's CV or function as window dressing, is doing more harm than good. Quite frankly, I think faculty and administrators should spend more time listening to our coaches than telling them what to do. Finally, why am I making this video? One word: tenure. I've often heard from folks on campus who say to me, "I agree with you, but if I said that out loud, I'd lose my job." And it's not just coaches, but staff, facilities workers, untenured faculty, mid-level administrators, public safety, and others who worry about their jobs. They honestly believe they'd be fired if they didn't embrace the campus orthodoxy and every DEI initiative without question. Would they? I don't know. And they don't know. But the risk just isn't worth it to them. And so many just smile and nod. And I completely understand why they do. However, an institution that fails to engage in critical dialogue on difficult issues is not going to thrive. And when so many people are actually afraid to express their opinions, things cannot move in a positive direction. This is unfortunately ironic in a place where so much time is spent discussing power and privilege and speaking truth to power. As a tenured professor, I feel I have an obligation to speak up. If you think I'm wrong, fair enough. Tell me why and we can discuss it. But without free dialogue, our institutions will tend toward greater authoritarianism and stagnation. And we can do better. Thank you.